The 750th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMASGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Just go to edgeboost.bet and use promo code SGPN. And finally, we're brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, degenerate nerds. Welcome to episode 750 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And Gung Hei Fat Choice goes out to everyone celebrating Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year today. Year of the Snake. Let's go. Let's make it a profitable year. Episode 750 means, by my math, we're going to hit 1,000 episodes by the end of the year. That's crazy. I am one of your hosts, the Canadian capitalist, Jeff Fox. And alongside me, the man who's been on all 750 episodes would be the one and only Daniel Gumby. Even when he's definitely ill, he makes his way into the episodes. He's on the mend now, and we got the UFC back, and it's not in the Apex, so it's a pretty solid UFC fight card.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little less sweaty today, which is pretty good. I think even after the sick episode where I was mentioned as looking pretty darn cold, this one, the couple that came after that, I was looking a little sweaty, a little pasty, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more myself. I decided to go with a brighter hat here. We got the king cake with Mardi Gras not too far on the horizon. So
that way too.
There you go. So I'm feeling a little sunnier. Yeah.
There you go. Are we going to sweat any bets this episode, Gumby? Speaking of being sweaty, or is everything going to be straightforward?
I mean, if you don't sweat during this first fight, there's a problem. Everybody's sweating in this first fight.
It's true.
The fighters are sweating.
Oh yeah, they are for sure. For sure. What we are talking about, of course, is UFC Fight Night Adesanya versus Imavov. I like when people try to say it like Adesanya. It is going down to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Is it Riyadh season, Gumby? I don't know if it's Riyadh season or not. I don't know what that means.
It seems to always be Riyadh season.
Yeah, great. Lucky us. UFC Saudi Arabia, you can call it for short. UFC sport washing, what we call it also. So we got 11 fights to break down. We've lost one fight, and then actually we lost two fights. We lost Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz, and then everyone's scared of Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi.
Lost Jordan Levitt.
Yeah, lost Jordan Levitt, lost Balaji Oki. Both of them bailed out. Once they heard that he was on Top Turtle, all his opponents scattered because they don't want that power that you get after being interviewed by Gumby. So regardless, we have got 11 fights, as I said. 5 today. Prelims, only have 5. Main card, 6 fights. And it is a early morning if you're on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, even earlier, North America, we're talking, 9 a.m. Eastern for the prelims. Perfect for Gumby. And this coming Saturday, which is February the 1st, the ANB Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in an octagon. And we are going to get to your winning prelim picks after I remind you. Actually, this is the new one. I haven't reminded you about this or even mentioned it before. SGPN is running a free squares pool for the Super Bowl. $1,000 winner take all for the final score square. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares to sign up today. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares. We're always giving away things for you. All right, let's dive into this here card, UFC Fight Night. UFC Saudi Arabia, whatever we want to call it. The fight that Gumby was referring to is a heavyweight banger, maybe not banger. It's a heavyweight fight in the opener. Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Jamal Pogues. 3 5-minute rounds at 265. Both these guys actually come real close to 265, so they will be getting very close to that. Tapology is really not behaving itself today. So Jamal Pogues, USA. Hamdy Abdelwahab is he from Saudi Arabia, Gumby? Where is he from again? Do you know off the top of your head?
Sorry, I was muted. It was Egypt.
You sure? I'm like, I lost Gumby.
Egypt. Yeah, it was
Egypt,
muted.
right? Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah,
He
and
is
if
from
you
Egypt.
looked at the fun little graphic on our screen, you would have seen that.
Yes. See, I'm looking at my own graphics. So yeah, I should have. You're right. All right, this one. Let's break it down. We'll tell you about Pogues first. The Stormtrooper, 11-4, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted twice. 2-1 in the UFC, 4-1 over his last 5. He did win his last fight. 2-0 on Contender Series. Regional champion, 0-1 in Bellator. Inch of height, 5 inches of reach over Abdelwahab, 2 years younger. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.81 strikes per minute, and he's at minus 107. So we pretty much got to pick him. Abdelwahab, the Hammer versus the Stormtrooper. 5-0 with 1 no contest, 5 knockouts. No contest was his first fight in the UFC, which he failed a drug test for. He's not fought since. That was back in July of 2022. That was a split decision win originally, I believe. Who did he fight again?
It wasn't anybody. Kong Mays.
Right.
Except for then I think he was Lord Kong. So that's a different fight.
Yep. It was 2.5 years ago. So yes.
Multiple Kongs ago.
He fought in the Abdelwahab was an Olympic wrestler in the actual Olympics and a world champion wrestler as well. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats, and he outstruck his one opponent in the UFC by 0.74 strikes per minute. He's at minus 110. All right, Gumby, get us kicked off with this banger.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Abdelwahab. It's hard to sometimes handicap a guy coming off of a long drug testing suspension, right? Like that's obviously never the thing we want. You saw with Rizvan Kuniev, he came back and his body was wildly different than it was before. And it's like you worry about that a little bit with Abdelwahab, but on the same token too, like the level of wrestling can't be overlooked, right? Like he is a high level wrestler. In that fight with Don'Tale Mayes, I know it's a split decision. He had a knockdown in that fight, which first of all says something about his hands, because it's not like Don'Tale Mayes is like some, gifted boxer or anything like that. But he's also a dude who's not like maybe the easiest guy to just knock down with your hands constantly. Like that's like sort of how he prefers to fight anyway. So he knocked him down with the hands. He had 3 takedowns. He had over 6 minutes of control time, almost 7 minutes of control time. Like all of those things are like good indicators that like this guy's grappling isn't just like for show and in grappling only competitions. Like he's found a way to make it work in MMA as well. And like, if you watch Pogues, like, I don't know, what do you think is the best thing about the way Jamal Pogues has fought since he's come to heavyweight?
Oh, do I have to give an answer? The best.
That's what I'm just asking.
I had no idea.
I had to ask myself that too. And I'm not going to throw shade at you for not having an answer, but like my answer is probably that he likes to like pick and prod from the outside and does a good job like not getting into like ugly firefights for no reason. And like maybe he's too patient, maybe that's a problem, but also like, like if there's a good thing about the way he's fighting right now, it's that like he does work from the outside and it's not terrible. And I just don't imagine Abdelwahab is going to let him do that for 15 minutes, and he hasn't had big put away power. So with that being said, like his path to victory here is hoping for a point fight for 15 minutes at heavyweight. Yeah, I'll take Abdelwahab then.
I was busy trying to see if I can see if Hamdy Abdelwahab is a big fatty now or anything. Didn't find anything. He's clothed in all the pictures I found. He was big in his first fight. Not like lean, but yeah, he was pretty big. So it's interesting to see if anything.
He's like a stockier dude, right? Like he's not a big tall dude.
No. He is my pick as well. The Hammer. Pretty clear path to victory here, right? Not that Pogues. He got taken down in his last fight by Steven Peterson. He's got a decent takedown.
Steven Peterson's not a bad wrestler though. He's training with Guzzi.
Yeah, I know, but compare him to the Hammer though. He's not an Olympic level wrestler. So Pogues, what I'm saying is his takedown defense is good. It's solid, but I think hopefully Abdelwahab will cut through it, and I think it's pretty clear path to victory. Finish him on the ground. That's what I'm guessing.
Agree.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Shall we to? Oh, is this? Yeah, Gumby told me off air. This is his favorite fight of the night. We're going to next, right?
Yeah, a fight where guy's coming off Contender Series in a fight I thought he lost. So yeah.
All right, I'm giving up on Tapology. I'm going to Wikipedia because Tapology keeps locking up on me here. So I'm not going to tell you what country everyone's from this time unless I know off the top of my head. By the way, Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. This is the banger fight of them all. All right. Grad, the Unleashed. Oh, what a great nickname. 14-2, 8 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once. This is his debut. He's won 3 straight and 8 of 9. 1-1 in Contender Series. More active landing strikes and better grappling stats than Alexander. That's based off 1 fight. Actually, 2 fights for him. He was outstruck in the Contender Series by almost 4 strikes a minute. He's minus 3.9 strike differential.
That's 2 fights on Contender Series, right?
Yeah, exactly. 2 fights, yeah. Plus 105. The Lion, Lucas Alexander, 8-4 with 3 knockouts. He's been knocked out once, submitted 3 times, so finishing all his losses. 1-2 in the UFC. Loss, win, loss has been his pattern. He got TKO'd in his last fight. Missed weight also in his last fight. A couple of strikes there on him. Fought it down at bantamweight, up at lightweight. 3 inches height, 3 inches reach over Grad. Better striking stats than Grad. He's outstruck his opponents by 3.4 strikes per minute, minus 120. How am I supposed to pick a winner here, Gumby? Like I know anything about either of these guys. Like I remember, I know neither of them are very good. I know Lucas Alexander has shown that he's not good at the UFC, but I'll take Grad. I'll take a stab at a dog here. Don't ask me why. Like I said, neither of them are very good, so I may as well take the dog here, I guess. You can probably give a more technical breakdown than that. Maybe you don't agree with me, though. Maybe you think the Lion is good.
It's so confident in dude.
I'm very confident.
I don't know. These guys,
dog of the week.
I don't know. These guys both suck. Take the dog. Yeah. I'm going to take the underdog, too. I'll give you a better reason than that. How about... Look, so I don't think he's all that good. I think he lost to Michael Aswell. First of all, I think Michael Aswell should be in the UFC and possibly in this fight, and he shouldn't. Aswell outstruck him by like 50 strikes. He had a little bit of control time, and for some reason, we gave him the decision. So for me, I think he's 0-2. But like the problem for me with Alexander is the flaws I see are just like really big flaws. Like, I picked him to win his last fight, but also then at the last second, I was like, wait a second. The KO prop for Jekasaregi is like 8-1. Yeah. And like, I was like, you can't not bet that. Because like Lucas Alexander's not that good and Saregi only wants to box. And not only does Saregi only want to box, but somehow still took down Lucas Alexander and then knocked him out. And the fight was only 103 seconds long. And like that's not a great sign for Alexander. And really, like if you look at Alexander's runs, like yes, he did beat Steven Peterson in that fight, but like Steven Peterson kind of with a foot out the door, right? Like Ocho he was borderline retiring anyway. And man, did he get steamrolled by Joe Anderson Brito. And maybe we don't take anything from the Joe Anderson Brito, but like you do take the fact that Jekasaregi chin checked him in a minute. In Bogdan Grad, like again, I think he lost to Michael Aswell, but like he hit his takedowns the way he thought he would. He did land 100 strikes on Aswell and was willing to stand toe-to-toe with a dude with crazy KO power. And, he's been knocked out before in the past. Tom Nolan caught him in the first time on Contender Series. But like the guy is like, a short little tugboat who like will get the work done if you need him to. I think he's going to get some takedowns here. We've seen Alexander also have, like I said, with the Saregi fight, problems with takedowns. And I think he's just going to be good enough to win here. So I'm going to go with Bogdan Grad. I think you're going to see a mixture of takedowns, a little bit better of a chin, and the fact that, Alexander maybe has, a weak chin in that. So, Grad by being I think, I was joking beforehand that they're both bad. I do actually think like Grad's like good enough. Like it's not crazy he's in the UFC. Lucas Alexander is like almost borderlining being crazy in the UFC.
Yeah, Grad, like you said, should be able to take him down, and he has power too, and finishing power. So all things that are better than the Lion. So yeah, let's go with the Unleashed Bogdan Grad. All right, before we move on, I'll be more confident with my next pick. I can assure you that. Disappointed about the line, but nonetheless. Edge Boost SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750, that's 750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And if you know your money is safe as the card, and you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured, the best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today and use the promo code SGPN so you get the better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They got easy deposits and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out all the MMA lines like this UFC Saudi Arabia lines over at MyBookie. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, make sure you use our promo code for our show, MMASGPN. If you do that, you can get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right. Why this is stuck on the prelims, I don't know. I know why. It's a female fight, and they're in Saudi Arabia. Why? Okay. Laura Sanko is on the call. Do they allow women to talk in Saudi Arabia?
So I know we're gonna make these jokes repeatedly.
It's not a joke. It's serious. It's a joke, but it's also for real.
I think from a sports standpoint, they tend to look the other way on some of their stricter rules.
What will she have to wear, though? Will she be fully covered? Will we just see her eyes? We'll have to wait and see. Will they be able to get drunk in that pre-show that they always do?
They will not do that. I know that they will not do that.
I never watch it, but I have seen
Me
clips.
neither, but they keep showing the clips of DC being absolutely rocked.
Yeah, I'm sure. People in our Discord do watch it, though, because they seem to watch everything. Crazy. Those crazy people. Women's flyweight is what we're dancing around. Jasmine Jasudavicius, my girl from my neck of the woods, versus Mayra Bueno Silva from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. We'll tell you about Tara first. Silva, 10-4-1 with 1 no contest, 1 knockout, 7 submissions. She's been knocked out once. 5-4-1 with 1 no contest in the UFC. She's lost 2 straight. Before that, she's gone, actually over the last 6, she's gone 3-2 with 1 no contest. Got TKO'd in her last fight. I used to fight up at bantamweight, failed a drug test. That was the no contest. I think it was just for like ADHD medicine. It wasn't really, it was, yeah. Yes, it wasn't like what the hammer was on. 1-0 on Contender Series, was regional champion, 2015 Pro MMA debut, 2 years younger than Jasudavicius, better striking stats, more active landing strikes. She has been outstruck in the UFC by 0.99 strikes per minute, plus 195. I was surprised by this line. I was sadly surprised by this line. I was hoping, yeah. I'll tell you
why in a second.
Yeah, I was thinking with Silva has the name going into it that it would at least be closer. Jasudavicius, 12-3, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 6-2 in the UFC. She's won 3 straight and 5 of 6. Won her last fight via submission. Used to fight at 135 and 115. 1-0 on Contender Series, 1 inch height, 2 inches reach over Silva. She's been outstruck, but barely, 0.11 strikes per minute in the UFC. Better grappling stats than Silva, minus 225. Tell us why.
Yeah, it's not crazy because I thought it was going to be closer because people would be silly and have forgotten how terrible Mayra Bueno Silva was at flyweight. Yeah. She was a bad flyweight, right? Like people forget that her first 5 fights of her UFC career were already at this weight. This isn't a new thing. We've already seen her at flyweight. She was trash there. She went 2-3, and in those 5 fights, she gave up 9 takedowns and scored none herself. And that includes giving up a takedown to Mayra Romero Borella. Do you remember Mayra
yes.
Romero?
I remember when they fought because the names are so similar. Yes.
Yeah. She's the Italian one, which, automatically, no offense to most Italians, it typically means not the best wrestling in the world. And so, she was giving up takedowns to her. She was giving up takedowns to, Marina Moraes. She was giving up takedowns to this one and that one. Like, she had no physicality for this division. She went up and she's like, oh, now I'm faster than everybody. And that's cool. And it worked for her first few fights up there. And she tricked people into a couple of submissions. And then, now is realizing you also have to be good up there. And now it's just going back to the division she was in before. And that, we can't just keep doing that every time we lose a couple.
Fighters think it's the magic cure.
Well, and, I am going to give her here too. She also did a camp change, and it's hard for me to pick against her because she was working with the Fighting Nerds for this one. So, maybe that's going to give her a slight improvement. But the bottom line is that she's still getting bodied at this weight class, and she was. And then she got bodied a little bit by Rocky. And it's what is Jasmine Jasudavicius great at? Throwing her weight around and making you pay for it. That's what she's good at. So if that's what she's good at, and that's what Bueno Silva has always had trouble with, particularly at this weight class, I don't know how we can't expect Jasudavicius just to go after her again like that and beat her exactly that way. So yeah, give me Jazu here. Maybe a touch surprised by the line, but I don't think it's wrong.
She's going to tire her out. She got Bueno Silva got, remember title fight at 135 where she got winded and basically gave up the fight. Yeah. Just imagine her having to cut an extra 10 pounds and then fighting someone like Jasudavicius. So yeah, Jasudavicius is going to make it miserable for Mayra Bueno Silva. I was hoping to get about a line, but the Canadian is the obvious pick here. And she is because Gumby took her as well. So there you go. The co-main event of the prelims is a lightweight bout. Terrance McKinney versus Damir Hadžović. Yes, Hadžović still exists.
I got these backwards.
Oh, do you?
No, it's got the right image.
Hadžović still exists, still in the UFC. He is still the Bosnian bomber. Hopefully that was not what he was doing in his time off. He's 14-7, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-5 in the UFC. He's won one of his last 4. Did lose his last fight. That was back in July of 2022. So him and Hamdy Abdelwahab have been out since July 2022. He's not won since June 2021. He's fed at 170, 2009 pro MMA debut. He's outstruck his opponents just barely, 0.10 strikes per minute. He's at plus 135. T-Rex McKinney, 15-7, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions. So he's finished everyone, and he's been finishing every fight. He's been knocked out 5 times, submitted twice. 5-4 in the UFC. He's won 2 of his last 3 and 2 of his last 5. Got knocked out in his last fight. Has missed weight before at 155. 0-1 in contender series. He's fed at 145 and 170. Our regional champion, 1 inch height, 3 inches of reach, 8 years younger than Hadžović. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by almost 2 strikes a minute. He's at plus 1.9, minus 455. Yikes. Guess they want to get T-Rex back in the winning track here. McKinney is the obvious pick. We have no idea what Hadžović didn't look good before this a lengthy break. I can't imagine he's going to be a better fighter now that he's been sitting on the shelf for almost 2.5 years. T-Rex is going to rack him on the feet, and probably I'm guessing inside the distance is still not going to be a playable line regardless. But McKinney's going to win inside the distance.
Yeah, and that's the way McKinney wins, right? So, probably not. But I will also say I like McKinney here, mostly just because, if you look historically at, how has Damir Hadžović won? It's been, by being a better wrestler than the guy he's fighting. And actually, he hasn't even always won that way. His loss to Mark Diakese was by he scored 8 takedowns and somehow lost a decision. How many people have ever taken down somebody 8-0 in a fight and still lost because that's how bad they are on the feet? And with the difference between Mark Diakese and Terrance McKinney on the feet is Mark might hurt you and might do damage, but Terrance puts you away. That's the thing about Terrance McKinney. And Terrance McKinney's losses are by punching himself out and not defeating Drew Dober in the first 30 seconds. Or by somebody hitting him with a weird head kick. And it's not like Hadžović is coming in here with an insane amount of power that people have to fear all the time. Yeah. And that's pretty much the only people who are out here beating Terrance McKinney is go knock him out in a toe-to-toe slugfest or lose. And I'll take McKinney. He's also sleepy good wrestling too. I'll say his wrestling will definitely surprise you.
McKinney wins in round 1, minus 163. That's all right.
No.
Wins around 2 plus 500. he's going to win in one of those rounds. I don't think it's going to go to the third, but if you want him inside the distance, it's still minus 350. So, if you're going to pick
off it,
if you're going to pick him, if you really want to bet money on him, you may as well take him inside the distance because he's not going to win a decision, and you save 100. You go from minus 455 to minus 350. So you save a little bit of money that way.
I'm not sure that's worth the risk.
Hey, no, not for us, but we have some people who have to bet on every. Oh, we tell people actually you have to bet on every.
Yeah, I'm still saying don't that extra 100 is not worth it. No.
All right, before we move on, Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier. I'm having trouble reading today. Easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. You can now use special and boost on all flex entries. Gumby, do you have a play for the people?
Yeah, sure. Let's kick it to the UFC because we're already in on the UFC here. Let's take the higher than on Jasmine Jasudavicius' takedowns. I pretty much gave you all the reasons why just a moment ago. And the projection here is only set at 1.5. you know, Amara Romero Barella almost got that honor. Yeah, you could give me that for Jasmine. I say she gets at least 2 here, and we wind up with the higher than on her takedowns.
I concur. Even hopefully she doesn't finish her. She's not a massive finisher, Jasudavicius, so hopefully, takes her down.
If she does it, it'll be late when she tires anyway.
Right.
So
right.
we'll already have 2 by then.
Good play. All right. Here's another thing you should do with that play Gumby just gave you. Use our code to sign up at underdogfantasy.com, MMA SGPN. And if you do that, you can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And SGPN's partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build you a model. The NFL playoffs haven't been going your way so far. Rhythm will help you turn things around. With only 1 game left, the best game of the season, Rhythm's AI-powered predictions for prop bets and game lines will set you up for success for the big game, the Super Bowl. NFL picks, NFL props, college basketball, and NBA. Rhythm has it all. Al Horford props, yes, I said they have it all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. Now to the main event. We started with big boys. We're ending with Ziam and Davis is what we're doing. The Smile Killer versus the Beast Boy. This is a tough one to pick, Gumby. I wish we didn't have to do it already. Let's break her down. They are 155, 45, 55. The Smile Killer, Ziam, 16-4, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times, 6-2 in the UFC. He's won 4 straight and 6 of 7. Got knocked out. Won his last fight via knockout. Excuse me. Has not lost since February 2022. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Finally, get to say it because I can tell you about a sale. Go to our store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, and the code is Big Game, 15% off. Use fight at 170, 2014 Pro MMA debut, 4-0-1 as a kickboxer and a champion there. An inch height, 3 inches reach, 5 years younger than Davis. Plus 126 is his strike differential, and plus 124 is his number on the board. Davis's Beast Boy, 11-2, 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once. 4-1 in the UFC. He drops his debut. He's won 4 straight. Won his last via submission. Is not lost since April 2019. He's fight at 145. Regional champ, 3-0 in boxing. More active landing strikes, better grappling stats, and has been outstruck by 0.41 strikes per minute, minus 140. Good to see him back. He doesn't fight enough. Actually, this works out good for me because now you get to make the pick first since I'm on the fence here. Are you on the fence?
I'm not on the fence. I was Mike Davis all the time.
Okay.
I've sort of been a hater on the Smile Killer before, and granted, his wrestling looked a little bit better in the last fight against Matt Frivola. But the bottom line is I just think Mike Davis is, first of all, a step ahead on the feet. We've seen him, especially in these last 4 fights over this win streak. And granted, there's, a little long layoff in there. In his most recent fight, we didn't get to see enough of him on the feet, but he's so fast on the feet. And not that Ziam isn't a good striker too, but I think the way that Mike Davis blends it together with his grappling is really high level shit. I think, Ziam has learned how to wrestle a little bit and he's been a really good striker, but I don't know that he does them together really well. And I think you can see the space in between where he uses his striking to set up his grappling really good for Davis. And I also just think Davis is better submission wise. How quick did he get that arm triangle on Natan Levy? That's a sign that he's got the sub skills in there. And I don't necessarily feel that way against Ziam. He might've gotten a few minutes of control time on Frivola, and he might've been able to get some quality positions on Frivola, but I don't know that he was ever really a big sub threat in his career. So I think Mike Davis, just by being a little bit more complete, is the one I want to go with here. So I'm going to go Mike Davis.
I concur. But like you said, we haven't seen enough of him. I want him to hopefully stay healthy and bang some fights out. But yeah, when we have seen him, he's been pretty impressive over the past 5 years or so. Well, almost 6 years. He's been undefeated since April of 2019. So yeah, Mike Beast Boy is our pick. All right, you're set. Do we agree on everything?
We did.
We did. Interesting. All right, Team Ride. Let's give you the picks. We both have the Beast Boy Davis. We both have T-Rex McKinney, Jasudavicius, Grad, Abdelwahab. All right, you're all set, ladies and gents. We'll be back tomorrow for the other 6 fights on the card. The main card in the meantime in the Discord is where we shall be, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Where else shall we be? We'll be YouTube, of course. MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Hit us up in the comments. If you like, SGPN MMA is the handle on Twitter. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm a Jeff Fox writer. I have a Substack. You should go in there at the very least and enter my free pick'em contest for UFC Saudi Arabia at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has another podcast we talked about earlier, Top Turtle. He has someone on who was supposed to fight. Everyone dropped out because they're scared of him. And then you have someone who actually is fighting.
Yeah, we're talking to Abdul Karim El Sawadi, who is supposed to be on this fight card. So he's talking a little bit about the lead up to that, which is a little bit disappointing that fell apart. But we're also talking to Denise Ilbay, who's going to be fighting at Octagon 66, which we broke down on yesterday's show. Yes,
so make sure you check out 2 episodes of Octagon before this one. We did the prelims and we did the main card. So check that out. And of course, check out Top Turtle. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Big game is your code. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon for extra content. And of course, remember your code is MMASGPN at mybookie.ag and underdogfantasy.com. We'll be back tomorrow. Shitara, Fox, the Hammer, Vreeland. We shall talk to you then. Adios, amigos.